I foolishly decided to do a little roof maintenance work one day and fell off the roof, slipped and fell off the roof and landed on my hip and broke my pelvis and had to have surgery to screw my pelvis back together again. And then coming out of that, the trauma surgeon recommended physical therapy as part of the recovery process.
With George, we wanted to make sure that we got him back to walking. That was his biggest deficit with his traumatic injury. So he wanted to get back to walking, so we had to make sure he had appropriate hip extension so that he could make sure he was loading that joint properly so that we preserve that joint and that he didn't have any residual pain from the pins that are actually in there holding that pelvis together. With a traumatic injury, there's always more risk of having negative outcomes, and I think George had pain for longer than he or I both anticipated. So that was a little bit of a struggle in terms of making sure that the pain levels diminished. As soon as that hip got stronger and it learned to work within its new framework, the pain decreased and he was able to complete more of his regular activities of daily living. George is very motivated, very easy to work with. Anything that we asked him to do, he did at home, and that home exercise component is very important in terms of mobility and strength, but a lot of times it's just walking, and if you can walk 10 minutes a day, you're gonna make huge outcomes in your care. And George was able to commit to a walking program, he was committed to his home exercise program, and everything that we did in the clinic, he was more than happy to try, and it really made for a great outcome.
Based on my experience, I would certainly recommend Athletico to others. You actually feel better when you walk out of there. You don't need a prescription, and sometimes if you just have a sore shoulder or a sore knee or a sore hip, you can just go. For me, it was very conveniently located. I have a couple of rubber band things that they gave me on my way out the door, and I literally do that every morning, and it has made a huge difference in just flexibility, getting rid of any residual pain or soreness, and I'm really at this point probably 99.5% recovered.